Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to take and create a rosette scroll. So this is a fairly simple rosette. I'm working with a piece of 3/8 inch round stock or 10 mil round, and I'm about to lay off about 3/4 of an inch to an inch, probably more like an inch, so 25 mil of material out off the edge of the anvil, and I'm going to create a set down or a boss on the end of the bar. So we're going to set that over the edge of the anvil, and we're going to drive straight down. We're going to turn quarter turn, go back, and establish some shoulders here. Now we're not going to go too far with this, and we're going to go ahead and taper up into the area that we've already knocked down, so to speak, just so this way this is a lot better transition. We're going to go ahead and keep hammering on this. And now we're going to go ahead and round it up in that direction. Again, keeping that little nub off the end of the bar there. And you want to clean this up the best you can. So here we go. Just like so. Nice and round in radius. So that's what we're looking for there. We're looking for a nice shoulder here to work against, and we want this to be rounded up, and we are half the original parent bar thickness. So we'll go ahead and heat this piece back up. It should be good to go. So we'll get this good and hot again. We want to focus all of our heat out at the end, the little nub here sticking on the end, and we're going to go ahead and drive back a little bit of material against the edge of the anvil. So we're trying to upset that piece just ever so slightly. You don't have to go crazy with this because we're going to end up upsetting this in a different way here in a moment. So this thing's good and hot. It's almost there. While that heats up, I just want to thank you for being here today. Thank you if you are a new subscriber to the channel. We appreciate to have you here in the blacksmithing family here at Christ-Centered Ironworks. And I hope you'll stick around and watch the over 1,100 videos of content that we have here on the channel. So now we're going to bring this out here, and we're going to just hammer this down just a bit. We're not trying to do anything crazy here. This is literally us just upsetting this a little bit. We're not trying to go super crazy. You're going to have to take out any sort of little upsets you get. It's going to want to bend around on you, especially near the stem. So go ahead and dress that out. And now we're ready to take and go. So the reason for this being, so this was again 25 mil or 1 inch long, and now it's about 20 mil or 3/4 inch long. The reason for that being is that in this next operation, we don't really want this to be too dang tall. If it's too tall, it's not going to look nice when we go to hammer on it. What's going to end up happening in this next section is if it was too tall, it's going to want to buckle on us or just kind of bend over like this, and we don't want it to do that. We want it to upset into itself. So go ahead and get a good heat on it here. While this is heating up, I'd like to thank everybody who is a part of our channel, who supports us on a regular basis by purchasing power hammer plans or buying ebooks from us over at our website, blacksmithpdfs.com. We greatly appreciate you supporting the channel and what Jessica and I do here at Christ-Centered Ironworks. So now we're going to go ahead and bend this away from our shoulder that we created, and we're going to drive straight down. We want to create a bit of a square shoulder here at the bottom, and we just want to make sure that we get everything set up for the next heat. The rounder you're able to keep this piece, the better off you're going to be. Right here we are. Clean that up nicely. And there we are. So within that heat now, we are just a hair over 1/2 inch. So I mean, we're probably right around 5/8 of an inch tall or 16 mil, and that's what we want. So now we're going to bring it out in the next heat with this being pointed down in the fire. We're going to make sure that the top of that nub is the hottest portion. We're going to bring it out, turn it up, and we're going to drive straight down with really good, hard, solid hammer blows. We want the piece to upset nice and even and spread out into a little disc-like shape. We've got this good and hot so far. We'll see if I can keep this to a 10-minute demonstration. We'll have to see. Actually, fun fact, I just filmed doing this. It took 25 minutes and it only recorded 5 minutes of my voice actually talking. So I had to throw all that footage away, and we're back at doing this again for you all. So I hope you all will appreciate this and like it. You're going to get what looks like a cold shut form. That's perfectly okay. We want that because that's going to give the illusion that this is a separate piece. So don't be afraid of that. And since this is a decorative element, this is perfectly okay. This isn't something that's going to crack off or anything like that unless you're being abusive with it. But it's giving that illusion that this is a separate piece. So that is a cold shut or a hot shut, if you will, but it gives the illusion that this is a whole separate piece. That's what we're wanting. So we're going to stick that in the fire with that, the cold shut oriented up. And now we're going to go ahead and use some tooling on this. We're going to switch to a saw face hammer. We're going to switch to a 3/8 inch ball punch. And we're also going to have ourselves a nice 1/4 inch eyeball punch. 1/4 inch round eyeball punch. Hopefully y'all can see that there. So we'll get this good and hot. And we want to aim for 4 corners on this. We want to drive out 4 lobes. If you want more lobes, I suggest going with a little slightly smaller punch. Maybe not 3/8 or 9 mil punch, but I mean a 10 mil punch. You may want to go a little less than that. Maybe go for something like 5/16 or 8 mil. I think that's similar if you're across the pond. Okay, so I'll put the eyeball punch down for now. I don't need that just yet. We'll pull this out and we're going to aim for 4 corners as we drive out this material. Just like as if this was a square bar, even though it's a round. We're coming in from the edge a little bit when we do this. Again, this is the decorative portion. You can do whatever you like. You want to hit it with authority though to drive out the material. And start angling your punch a little bit. Making a different noise because it's getting cold off enough. It's no longer moving and it's bottoming out against the anvil. But there you have it. So we just drove down here, 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 and here, and that drove out our lobes of our flower. So we'll go ahead and heat that back up. And as that gets hot, we prep with our eyeball punch. Get that in the ready. I'm doing pretty good so far, 8 minutes and 55 seconds. It won't be quite a 10-minute video this time, ladies and gents, but it might be a 12-minute video. Let's see how quickly I can make this scroll. Hopefully you all are enjoying this. If you do, remember to hit that like button. We're gonna get that a little hotter yet. I want this to get a lot hotter now. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Okay, we're gonna set that right in the crosshair where those 4 rounds meet. We're gonna drive straight down. Basically in the center of the bloom is what we're looking for. Voila! Just like that, we've got that. Now I will say that this thing's starting to kind of cup a little bit, so I'm going to just hammer on the backside just ever so lightly. That's going to give us that shape right there. Now if you find that you kind of messed up some of your lobes a little bit, you can come back in with your ball punch and straighten some of that out if need be. Just be careful with it because you can end up kind of wrecking it a bit. So there we have it so far. So I'm going to do one more thing to this, and I believe that this gives it just a little extra something something. I'm going to use this cross peen here with a really thin, narrow edge. This has got about an 1/8 inch radius to it. That's about 3 to 4 mil radius there onto it. And I'm going to drive that right in the center of those lobes to give it more of kind of a lobey look to it, a little more flowerish like. Again, this is your rosette. You can do whatever you want with it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this one. Give it just a little tap right in the center. Give it a little tap right in the center. Give it a little tap right in the center. You may have to straighten it out a couple times with a wooden mallet, which I'm not seeing here because it'll want to act weird on you, but that's okay. So I've got 3 out of the 4 done. Go ahead and heat that last lobe up there and do it one more time. And this will kind of just give it more of a flowery, bloom-like look. You can add other stuff to this. You can add fuller lines, you can add chisel lines, you can add all sorts of different stuff. Different textures in the bloom petal itself. Really just let your imagination go wild. Again, I don't really want any of that. I just want to take and square some of this petal up a little bit. Get a little extra here. Try that out. A little more curl in than I like. Bada bing. There it is. I'm just using a raw wooden mallet. You can use a rawhide mallet. That's actually a really good thing to use if you got. There you go. So there's the rosette on the end of the bar there. Now let's turn this into a scroll. So the trick to taking and turning this into a really nice, pleasing looking scroll now, when we get rid of all this stuff, get rid of your excess tools you don't need anymore up top. We need to heat it up pretty hot right where the rosette's at, and then we need to cool off the rosette itself. So just behind the rosette bends really nice and tight like. We really need that to bend really nice and tight. So I'm going to cool that all off. Nice and go. And then we just want to focus on hammering real tight, getting that material to bend right at the rosette. Something like that. It's going to look nice. Very nice. Okay, so we've got that really nice and tight at that bend. That'll also keep our rosette up out of the fire for our future heat. So as we go along, as we keep scrolling this up, that rosette will stay more out of the fire that way. Hopefully this is recording my voice still and I don't have to take another go at this. So for this next heat, I'm going to go ahead and cool off the rosette again just a little bit because I need to hammer on it a bit more. I don't want to take a chance of wrecking my rosette. So I'll go ahead and cool off that rosette outer edge just a bit. And we just want to set this up nicely. The nicer you set up the start of this scroll, the better the rest of the scroll is going to look. If you take and get a bunch of flats and weird areas going on in the transition of this first part of the scroll, it's going to end up looking horrible in the long run. By the time you get the rest of it done, it's not going to look good. So all good scrolls start at the finial. So I'll take another longer heat here. And we're going to take this the rest of the way there. So we are getting really close now to being finished. Hey, and it's only a 15-minute video so far. Aren't you lucky? Aren't you lucky? Nowhere close to 10 minutes. But I'm having fun, and I hope you're doing the same. And this is filmed in real time. There's no jump scenes here. There's no editing. There's no fanciness, no crazy music. This is just real time here. So you can see about how long it takes a professional blacksmith to do this. And you can kind of gauge where you're at, kind of to tell how much time it's going to add to your particular project. I will say this, however, doing this extra little bit of a mile at the end of a scroll really spices up just your basic scroll work with the ends that are just tapered ribbon scrolls or whatever. I believe it just really helps enhance the ironwork, and I think it's very valuable to do. Again, I'm going to go real tight at first until I start getting around the scroll, almost a full 180 degree, and then I start bringing out my spiral more. And get that brushed up good. Whenever you're doing scroll work, you want to be checking your negative space. You want to make sure your negative space is what you want. Now, you'll hear a lot of people say that there's no rights and no wrongs in blacksmithing. I would like to counteract that with, yes, there is some rights and wrongs in blacksmithing, or more or less do's and don'ts. Scrolls that have a bunch of flats in them and they look blocky as they go around, that's a don't. Do's are a nice smooth spiral. Now, where you get to choose some of your stylization, you can do a really tight spiral, or you can do what they call an Archimedes spiral, where it goes out like the golden rule. It really expands out. It doubles on itself every time as you make the wraps. That's a classic scroll work that you'll see a lot of people do. In scroll work is that kind of spiral, more of an Archimedes spiral. So again, you know, that's where you get to kind of choose your art, so to speak. But the don'ts, and it's a definitely don't do, is leave flats in your scrolls. They will highlight themselves as you spiral it up. So that's it for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, remember to leave a like and a comment what you think down below. And as always, God bless you, and we will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.